Today we talk with the leaders in the National Productivity and Quality Convention. This conference was organized by the NPCC. During this session, topics related to productivity and quality such as innovation and quality circles, business excellence, productivity improvement, lean management.
In Business Connect today, we are at the NPCC in Eben. The NPCC National Productivity and Competitiveness Council. It is currently organizing its National Productivity Quality Convention, NPQC, and it's the second edition. The reason to organize it is to enhance processes and quality in organizations in both the private and public sector. According to Statistics Mauritius, labor productivity has increased from 2.4% in 2017 to 3.7% in 2018, and the NPCC wants to improve this figure. Let's now meet the Executive Director of the NPCC to tell us more. Deepak Bagubin, you're the Executive Director of the NPCC, and you have the National Productivity Quality Convention, which is its second edition this year. Tell us a little bit more how it has been going so far.
Thank you, Roshan. But before we go on the second edition, let me make a very brief story of the first edition. In fact, the 6 grand winners of NPQC 2018 participated in the International Convention on Quality Control Circles in Singapore last year. And it's a great honor for the country that all the 6 teams won gold awards. So we are now here with the second edition of the NPQC, and we have for this year's convention 3 categories. First one is SMEs, second one large private companies, and the third category is government and parastatal bodies. So it is very interesting to know that we have more than 100 participants in those categories, where these participants, these companies, these organizations have presented a project on improvement on quality, improvement on their productivity and innovation in some cases, where this has helped the organization, has helped those individuals to perform well in those companies. And then we have assessments done, where we will select 11 best projects, and we have the pleasure to have a team of international jurors, experts in this field, to be able to assess those gold awards to eventually declare 6 grand winners. Those 6 grand winners will be participating in the international convention, and this year it is being held in Tokyo, in Japan.
Coming back to what you mentioned on the first editions, there were 6 companies who have achieved the gold medal. Has a follow-up been done with them, and why is it important for them to participate in such conferences?
Well, there has been a big follow-up in the sense of we have used them as mentors, because these 6 companies in different categories, they have got this experience. Because doing an award is very easy. You give a shield, you give a prize, and that is it. But what we did is for these companies to get an international exposure, and going to an international convention where you have more than 2,000 participants. We have big companies like Toyota, like Boeing, like Ritz-Carlton, and competing with them. So they get this international exposure, and this will help them definitely in their organization. So what they have done after winning those grand gold medals, we have we have told them to share the experience with the current ones. They have become mentors, they have shared experience, and the participants in the current edition have learned from them also, so that they can do much better than last year.
Deepak, judging by the second edition this year, it means that the first one was quite a success, and you're building up onto the next edition. What is the motivation behind the NPQC?
In the last budget, the Honorable Prime Minister mentioned that he wished that Mauritius become a country of high revenue, high income generating country. And one of the key elements to be able to achieve that vision is we need to have quality in organizations. We need our people to have a better productivity in their day-to-day. Because having a better productivity will definitely enhance the organization. So this activity, this convention, is in the same endeavor to be able to tell companies, organizations, small, big, government, do a Kaizen initiative, do a Muda-free activity, do an innovative task, do something that is productive and show us this project. And as I said, we have a panel of international jurors so that they can assess it from an international perspective. And those companies are motivated to do so. So if I tell you we have more than 100 companies, which means already 100 organizations in Mauritius are doing it. Next year we have another 100. So in the years to come, this one element to be able to be a high income generating country will definitely help in this vision of the government.
So the key to the progress is through enhancing quality.
We have to enhance quality, we have to better the productivity at the end of the day, and in all sectors of the economy. At the end of the day, it's the country who is the winner.
Of course, there are many sectors in Mauritius. Some do very well, some do less well. So are you targeting a few specific sectors, or is it across all levels?
It is across all levels of the economy. As I said, we are checking the SMEs. Even though some of them have 2 or 3 or 5 employees, but those people doing better in the organization will definitely have a helping hand in this sector, right? We're doing the large companies, right? Seafood sector, we have seen participation from the beverage sector, the hotel sector, seafood sector. So everybody concerned is productivity, is innovation, is quality. Because if we don't have these small elements, a company, an organization, a country will not be successful. That is why we have to start somewhere. And this is our second edition, very fresh. So I'm sure in the years to come, all these organizations will form part, have a better productivity, better quality products, so that the country, as I said, will be the winner.
Mrs. Tangres, you're a consultant in quality circles from Singapore, and you've come to Mauritius as a juror for the NPQC. Tell us a little bit more about your role in this second edition.
Well, I've been invited to be one of the jurors, and in fact, when last year, as mentioned, I was a juror as well for the Singapore side. In fact, that's when I met Francois, and she invited me to come over to be one of the jurors, and I'm pretty excited about it and knowing what NPCC has been doing. Yeah, so my role, I suppose, in this convention is to be a fair and just, encouraging juror, if you want to put it that way.
Definitely. Of course, one of the main aspects for you is quality and of course, eventually improving productivity.
Yes.
What does it mean to you?
Well, I think employees have to be challenged to not to do things the same way, not to be like a mouse on a mouse running on a treadmill machine, and they just go in and out, in and out. And I think it is very important that there is a possibility for the workers to give them empowerment, to have the say in their workplace. Because ultimately the workers are the SME, the subject matter expert, yeah? So this is, to me, this is very important because I'm not only I conduct training as well, and I realize that sometimes organizations do not look at the processes. and they just wonder why productivity is not up, wastage is high. So if only company will come on board and understand what is it all about. And I believe that a little make a big difference. Sometimes it's just a shift of something and make a big result. But unfortunately, people tend to be very comfortable in their comfort zone.
It is often true that companies tend to focus on the end result of products, whereas the processes is as important. Can you please share your views on it?
Yes, although we talk about end result, but the team and the members themselves, they have to understand, okay, to put it that way, it is always good to have an end in mind. This is where I want to be, and this is where I am now. So in the middle, what happened? So we got to bring them through this analytical process to know where is the gap, what need to be changed, what need not be changed. If things are going well, why reinvent, right? So no doubt we talk about end result, but it's good that they know where they are going, the journey. And in between, that's where the processes will have to come in. And in order for them to do that, company has to equip them with all the tools. You can't send a soldier to war without bullets.
So that's why you mentioned earlier it's important to have training and give advice. What would be your advice to improve processes in companies normally, from all your experience?
Normally, I would start out talking with the management. If there's no buy-in, then there's nothing to talk. If the management felt that, oh, I'm happy with what we're turning out, and you ask them to look into it, I'm talking in terms of Singapore context. Some management even thought that, oh, it's not necessary. Not necessary, and if there's no buy-in, there's no go. Sad to say, but this is true. Back in Singapore, we do have companies who just go through the cycle of doing it, just to be part of the convention. But ultimately, they have to recognize that there is an issue. If they don't see an issue, then you can't get them to get going. You know, you can bring the cow to the water, but you cannot make it drink.
Of course. Mrs. Grace, from the many years you have in terms of consulting for quality, what has been your major findings as shortcomings in companies nowadays?
Lack of training. And I guide teams to such convention, and when you read their report, you know that they are not able to demonstrate how they get from point A to point B. So most of the time, I would say it's lack of training, where they do not equip them with the right processes, and they don't really understand what they are doing, why they are doing what they are doing. So yes, you are right. If they just focus on the end result, I think it's incorrect. So they need to follow a process, and the most common process that we use in Singapore is PDCA, right? And of course, there are some companies who are braver. They've gone into Six Sigma, and myself, I have led a couple of teams using design thinking.
All right.
So which is another big area, and it's very different because we are, in today's context, we are telling them improvement does not mean there must be problem. You're happy with what you're doing, but is there something else that you could do better? So we're challenging them to look at better ways of doing. In the past, they felt that, oh, there's problems, so I need QCC. But QCC is not to solve problem at all. Yeah. So the mindset change has to take place.
When it came today, it was a hard as an African.
Satarisi Getahun, you're the former CEO of Kaizen Institute in Ethiopia. First question is, what does the Kaizen Institute do? So you improve companies to reach a certain level in terms of their quality and processes?
Yeah.
Can we say that?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Basically 4 activities. The first thing, the basic activity is learning from the Japanese, because they are the first who has started this Kaizen philosophy or Kaizen management. So learning is one point. And then provide training to local companies, support them in implementing Kaizen activities in each companies, evaluate, measure, and awarding those who perform best in the implementation of Kaizen. These are basically the main activities or core activities of the Ethiopian Kaizen Initiative.
How did it work out back then in Ethiopia?
Oh, it worked out well because we had consecutive projects assisted by JICA. Of course, for the last 10 years, I can say. So that we have exploited, or I can say we have tried to learn more the activities, how they implemented in JICA, in Japan, how those Japanese institutions like JPC, JUSE helped Japanese companies implementing this Kaizen, so that we have benchmarked that and tried to implement in Ethiopian situation. Of course, Ethiopia is not Japan, but we have to customize it to the Ethiopian situation. Yeah.
Trying to implement the Japanese way of doing things, especially in terms of manufacturing and across all sectors. What was the impact in Ethiopia?
Well, we have implemented Kaizen in different ranges of the sectors. In manufacturing industry, I can say because our manufacturing industry, when we start first to implement Kaizen, we found out that the non-value adding and the wastage of time, the non-value adding activity that incorporates different types of wastage is high. So we have increased productivity in some companies up to 30%. Well, 30% seems very great. Yes, it is great because that tells how we were doing bad in the past. Well, in construction industry, it's very surprising because we have housing program that's conducted by the support of the government. The savings there is about 30% again. 30% is very because from 130 rupees saving to that extent. So the impact is great. Now we are moving to different service sector as well. So the other one is that the nation, Ethiopia, is convinced that Kaizen activity is very important to change its economy.
Mr. E.G. Inui, you are the Senior Sector Industrial Development and Public Policy Department at the Japan International Cooperation Agency, and you're also one of the jurists for the NPQC in Mauritius. Tell us a bit why in Mauritius?
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to express my deepest appreciation to attend your National Productivity and Quality Convention, because I'm now promoting the Kaizen, African Kaizen initiative. And Kaizen is just in Japanese, but it's a quite similar concept of the productivity and quality improvement. Then Kaizen means exactly continuous improvement. So I'm very honored to join this kind of ceremony or contest. Thank you very much.
Oh, so please tell us more about the improved quality process with the Kaizen.
Okay, the improvement of Kaizen is a continuous improvement. So probably in the workshop they can find out some muda or some wastage or some kind of improvement. Then they come together to discuss about that issues. Then they want to solve out that issues. Then it's circled after complete their task, and they go to the next phases. Since we call it like incremental innovation, something like that.
Okay, and this has been successful in Japan. You're trying to implement it in Africa, because you said there's an Africa strategy.
Yes, that's right. Because under the AUD NEPAT, we have some partnership program. Then there are 4 pillars. One is the advocating at the high level of Kaizen, and second is the creating center of excellence, and third is standardization of Kaizen. The fourth is networking of Kaizen. This contest is some kind of networking activity. Mr. Deepak go to the Zambian award as an examiner. So Mr. Getahun come from Ethiopia to your country. This kind of communication or collaboration I stimulate to them.
Do you think that Mauritian companies should also do the same and follow the Africa strategy for quality improvement?
Yes, Mauritius is the best location between Asia and Africa. then you are the one to promote both the promotion. You have a very good position for between Asia and Africa.
And you think it will work in Mauritius?
Of course, this is the second time to visit your country, but before 20 years ago, I visited here. But dramatically changing in this country, and why the other African people should follow your policy or some kind of action plan in your country.
According to you, why is it important to improve the quality and the processes of manufacturing, whether it is products or services, in the wake of such a competitiveness in this modern era?
Of course, there is the worldwide market, and the African continent, you are now increasing the population. If you not tackle with the productivity in your working place, you lose the competition, and that means you can't create a decent job. But if you want to create a good condition for the working position, probably you can invite the foreign investment or some foreign factory to produce in the African continent.
We have now come to the end of this episode of Business Connect, and I hope that you have enjoyed it. On behalf of the whole production team, thank you very much. If you wish to watch this episode again, you can visit us on the NBC website, which is the www.nbcradio.tv, or also watch it on other platforms. Until then, goodbye.